Would former Congressman Michael McNulty please lead us in the Pledge of Allegiance? To the flag of the United States of America and to the republic for which it stands, one nation, under God, indivisible, with liberty and justice for all. Please remain standing for our opening prayer from Brooke Levitt.
Almighty God, you who are the source of our life, strength, and purpose, in your presence alone we find help, hope, and life. Guide us during this hour of fellowship and reflection to be grounded with a healing reminder of your love to all whose lives we touch this day. For it is in your glory we gather and offer our prayers. Amen.
You may now take a seat. Good morning. My name is Kevin Miller, Director of Rensselaer County Veterans Service Agency. We are here to honor our deceased veteran of the month, January. That veteran is James F. Plog, Sr. We are honored to have James's family with us this morning, his daughter Paula, his son-in-law Paul, and their family friend Tom. Good morning, Plog family. Thank you for being with us here today and allowing us to honor James. Also with us today to honor our Veteran of the Month is Rensselaer County Executive Steve McLaughlin, Congresswoman Elise Stefanik's office, Reed Cronus, Josh Williams, former Congressman Michael McNulty, New York State Senator Jake Ashby, Rensselaer County Sheriff Kyle Bagot, Rensselaer County Drug Court Deb Young, Commander of the Order of Elite Arsenal Colonel Fisher, Chairwoman Kelly Hoffman, Vice Chair Robert Loveridge, Dan Casal from the Legislative Committee. As we are well aware, Memorial Day and Veterans Day are special days to remember all of our veterans. This program was created to help honor our veterans all year long. To us here in Rensselaer County, every day is Veterans Day. The Rensselaer County Honor Deceased Veteran Program represents veterans organizations throughout the entire county. This includes members of the American Legion, Disabled American Veterans, Veterans of Lansingburg, Military Order of the Purple Heart, Marine Corps League, Veterans of the Foreign Wars, Korean War Veterans, Tri-County Council of Vietnam Era Veterans, Combat Veterans Motorcycle Association, Vietnam Veterans of America, AMVETS, and Rensselaer County Veterans Service Agency. I will now ask Kelly Hoffman, Rensselaer County Legislative Chairwoman, to come forward to tell us about our honor of a vet, January James F. Plog, Sr.
Morning. Good morning, everybody. Happy New Year. I am Kelly Hoffman. I'm chair of the Rensselaer County Legislature, and it's an honor for me to stand here monthly to conduct our monthly Honor of Veterans ceremony. So I want to thank everybody who came here this morning and braved the cold and recovered from the snowstorm to be here. Rensselaer County has a rich tradition of honoring the service and our sacrifice of our veterans with this monthly program, and it's really just one of the ways that we are able to honor our veterans in this special way. You may have noticed when you drove in the front entrance of the building, our new recently completed Veterans Plaza, and I'd like to give some recognition to Steve and his team. I'm sure there's going to be more great details to follow on that, but what a great symbol to remember our veterans, and there'll be more information on that as the weeks go on. It does serve as a great reminder of the service and sacrifice our veterans in Rensselaer County and beyond. Today, we gather to honor the extraordinary life and service of James F. Plog Sr., a cherished veteran whose journey began on October 16, 1926, in Poughkeepsie, New York. James received his education in the Schenectady School public system and then answered the call of duty on D-Day, June 6, 1944. James enlisted in the United States Marine Corps on the same day of the largest seaborne invasion in military history. He bravely served in the Pacific Theater from April 1945 to July 1946, playing a pivotal role in the occupation of Japan as a mortar crewman and rifleman. We don't have many details about what James had encountered during his wartime service, but it is safe to say that he experienced things that we only see in movies or read in history books. After his honorable discharge as Private First Class Plog on August 19, 1946, at Camp Lejeune, James was recognized for his service with the Good Conduct Medal, the Asiatic Pacific Campaign Medal, World War II Victory Medal, the Rifleman Marksmanship Badge, and the Honorable Service Lapel Button. When he returned to civilian life, James dedicated himself to farming and farm management, notably with the Vanderbilt family in Williamstown, Massachusetts, where he became a herdsman. He later married Dorothy Ely on October 25, 1947, and together they ventured to Cobleskill, raising 3 children, Paula, James Jr., and Keith. James' life saw him managing his own dairy farms in East Greenwich and Scaticoke before employment at GE Silicones in Waterford, where he retired in 1990. His commitment to service extended beyond his military tenure as he became a lifelong member of the American Legion, the VFW, the Marine Corps League Troy Detachment. Outside of his professional pursuits, James found joy in various hobbies, including golf, fishing, metal detecting, and a deep appreciation of World War II literature and documentaries. His retirement was marked by his love for music, learning to play the piano, and mastering computer skills through courses he took in his free time. Above all, James cherished moments with his family and his beloved German Shepherd, Helga. Sadly, on April 17, 2023, James passed away, leaving behind a legacy cherished by his daughter, sons, grandchildren, great-grandchildren, a sister, and a community touched by his presence and his dedication to his country. Today, we salute the life marked by courage, dedication, and unwavering commitment to both his country and to his family. James F. Plog Sr. will join a long list of Rensselaer County veterans that we have recognized at the ceremony. And on behalf of all of my colleagues here at the legislature, I want to thank the Plog family and friends and all of you here today for allowing us to remember him. Now I'd like to introduce our former legislator and esteemed colleague, Colonel Tom Walsh, to talk to us about our Hall of Heroes.
Well, thank you. My voice hasn't improved much from the last one, but I'll give it a try here. Hopefully you can all hear me all right back there. I just want to thank the family here for Jim's service. I understand he got a good contact medal. I could never understand how a Marine got a good contact medal. Right, Captain? Anyway, he had a good job there in the Marine Corps if he was a mortarman. He used products that we made over at the arsenal, as Colonel Fisher would say. I was chief of manufacturing over there, and we made a lot of them. And that went for our Army and the Marine Corps. But this are all the heroes. As you see, we got the Medal of Honor winners in the back. We have 16 of them, Medal of Honor winners in Rensselaer County. And then over here in this other wall is all our heroes, all the veterans that we recognize over the years for past veterans. And Jim's name will be on a plaque this year with the rest of them that we honored this year. So I want to thank you again for Jim's service.
I will now ask Rensselaer County Executive Steve McLaughlin to come forward.
Thank you. Good morning, everyone. Pleasure to be here with everyone this morning. Our colleagues in federal and state and local government, including Congressman McNulty, who started these so many years ago, started these ceremonies, which have now been duplicated by so many counties around the area. Joined by Colonel Fisher from the Arsenal and some special guests in from Detroit, as I understand it, including General Lawler and his team. So thank you for being here to see this wonderful ceremony that we do every month to honor our veterans. And as we say, every day is Veterans Day here in Rensselaer County, and boy, what a great veteran to honor today, James Plog. When you read through that bio, that looks like a guy that could do everything, because he pretty much did everything. I always think of a guy like that, like his tool shop must have been packed with every tool imaginable. I'm sure he could just do it all. And it reminds me a little bit of my dad. He was over in Japan at the end of World War II about the same time. So interesting to read. And probably like my dad, I was too young and probably not smart enough to ask him about what went on. But that genre, that generation of veterans really didn't talk much. They came home and took off the uniform and went to work. And that's clearly what Mr. Plog did in a very varied way. So what a great life. Great run, too. Was he 96 or 97? And a half, yeah. And 96 and a half, because I was looking at that, well, he almost was 97 there. So amazing life. He packed a lot into it. Great family, great Rensselaer County tradition here, great family, the Plog family. And boy, like I said, he just did it all. So we're lucky to have had him here in the county, and we thank you for letting him honor us today. And as Chairwoman Hoffman said, that Veterans Park right out there is just another way of Rensselaer County saying thank you to our veterans. There is more to come on that. We got that done in December, so it looks pretty good right now with the snow covering it, because the grass didn't have time to grow. But we got that done, and there's a little bit more finishing touches coming. But beautiful tribute to our veterans. So thank you for letting us honor Mr. Plog today.
I will now ask Elise Stefanik, Congresswoman, office to please come forward, and Congressman Paul Tonko's office to please come forward.
Good morning. Please excuse my voice. I'm getting over a little bit of an illness, as everybody is, but very happy to be here on behalf of Congresswoman Stefanik today to honor Mr. James Plog's gallant and virtuous life. First, I want to thank the family for allowing us to honor Mr. Plog today. It's always very captivating to dive into the bio, as many people have said, and into the life story of our country's bravest men, and obviously James is no exception there. Mr. Plog served our country during the very challenging times of World War II and came home to build a life filled with family, which is, like Steve said, kind of what everybody did. And he also enjoyed a lot of very cool pastimes. Metal detecting, I read, and golfing, good man, I like that. And one of the other things I just wanted to touch on is it said that he learned how to work with computers and use computers later on, and that's great. I don't like doing new stuff, so I love that. That's great. Always wanting to learn, always wanting to better himself. That's excellent. And it seems like that's what Mr. Plog was all about. In honor of Mr. Plog today, I'm honored to present a congressional record here detailing the details of his life. That will be read into the congressional record by the Congresswoman, as well as a flag that has been flown over the Capitol in honor of James. So thank you very much.
I will now ask New York State Senator Jake Ashby to come forward.
Well, good morning, everybody. It's great to see you. I want to thank Congressman McNulty for always being here and for starting these ceremonies and continuing to carry them on. Colonel Fisher, General, it's great to have field grade officers in attendance as always. But this morning when I was reading over the bio, I couldn't help but notice that he enlisted on D-Day. He's starting it off right, and the time that James spent in Japan in the Pacific Theater marked a pretty intense time, and then having to remain there, missing a lot of the parades and celebrations that many of our World War II veterans and families partook in during that time. He was there rebuilding that country and bringing to bear the American values that we now see in Japan today, and helped really rebuild our world. And what did he do when he came home? He carried that over again. That attitude of rebuilding and marking traditions with his own family and carrying them on. And what a varied life at that, from agriculture to GE, to his extensive hobbies. He really did an amazing job in leading a life that sets a high standard. And tough to follow, but I know the Marines that are in the local Marine Corps League, his family, must look to him as an example and hope to carry on those same traditions. So on behalf of the New York State Senate, I do have a proclamation here for you today, and I want to thank you again for letting us honor him. Thank you.
I will now ask New York State Assemblyman Scott Bendet to come forward.
Thank you, and thanks for all being here. Thanks for letting us have the opportunity to honor Jim. 96 and a half years old, that's quite an accomplishment in itself. I always wonder what would, when I meet people who are, so old, um, they seem to be so much smarter than us. They seem to have so many more talents and the ability to learn computers in his 90s. I have a 92-year-old mother-in-law, and I've seen the same thing. And, as we're sitting here talking about all this, I wonder in a different time, maybe, if he was born 50 years later, what would his life have been like? Would he have went to college? And all of the different things that would have happened in his life from there. But when I meet somebody who had such a varied life like your father, the one common thread that I find is that they were incredibly intelligent. The skills that they learned in the military, the skills that they learned in school and elementary school, middle school, and high school, and to be able to come back, be a dairy farmer, and then to carry on a family, and then to be in Japan, which I'm not as experienced as Senator Ashby when it comes to military stuff, but I did see that movie Unbroken, and Japan seemed like a pretty tough place to be if you were in the service in that time. So I can always appreciate coming here and honoring our heroes, and I'm glad I had the opportunity to learn about Jim and see about his life. And thank you very much. He's another example of an ordinary person from the capital region going out to the world and coming home and really, like Jake said, rebuilding our country. So thank you very much.
I will now ask Colonel Fisher, Commander of Watervliet Arsenal, to come forward.
Good morning. So I did shovel the snow. Everyone knows I'm not from around this area. First of all, well, thank you for putting on a great event, great monthly event. It's important. So on the Arsenal, we celebrate every service's birthday, and so just phenomenal that I'm privileged not to be the last speaker today. I think the last speaker today is really connect with the presentee. So what I gave you was a coin from America's oldest active arsenal, which is Watervliet Arsenal, that was standing on the forefront and making weapons during World War II when freedom and democracy was challenged across the globe. And James was one of those individuals that stepped into the breach of danger. And so all of our services, we do have a little friendly rivalry and competition, but between the Army and the Marine Corps, we share two service values. One is honor, and one is some personal courage. Commitment, the Marine Corps cut off that commitment. Yes, the Army has commitment in its values as well. But somebody like James, at a time when the world was, had freedom and democracy challenged, stepped into the breach of danger and decided to give a portion of his life in the defense of freedom, democracy, and others that he didn't even know. I mean, there's millions of generations of Americans and millions of generations of those individuals in Japan that benefited from James's service. And so, as you hold that coin and as you drive it through the thruway, and you see that American flag flying over America's cannon and mortar factory, know that James is a part of that, and his legacy will always be remembered and revered. So on behalf of Watervliet Arsenal, we have a small token of appreciation for that to be remembered. And thank you for his service and keeping his tradition alive.
I will now ask Captain Dan Suckart from the Executive Officer of Recruiting Station in Albany to come forward.
Good morning, ladies and gentlemen. Just like to say thank you to the family and the Marine Corps League for inviting the Marine Corps to be here for this recognition. I'm Captain Stuckert. I'm the Executive Officer for Marine Corps recruiting across New York State. One of my primary responsibilities is interacting with, the faculties and students of over 500 high schools across New York. And the one thing that stands out to me about someone like Private James Plog is that, across tens of thousands of high school students in New York, that, willingness to serve and that inspiration to serve in the United States Marine Corps is still there for them, as it was for me in 2012 and generations before me. I don't think that that's something that just, pops into someone's head one day to serve in the United States Marine Corps. It's inspired by the actions of people like James Francis Plog. So, I have a happy heart, and I think you should have a happy heart as well, knowing that he has provided that inspirational figure and that motivation for generations and generations of Marines to continue on with selfless service, depart, across friendly lines as he did, and continue to serve their country with pride. So thank you for having us here, and on behalf of the United States Marine Corps, Semper Fidelis.
At this time, can I please have the Rensselaer County Honor a Deceased Veteran Committee stand? Can we now please present the plaque? Can we all stand, please, for the closing prayer?
Day is done, dawn is sun, from the lake to hill and the sky, all is well. God of compassion, dignity and strength, watch over this veteran and his family. Bless him and grant his family comfort and everlasting.
Amen.
Please retire the colors. This concludes Honor a Veteran ceremony for this month. Thank you for joining us to honor and remember our January veteran, James F. Plog Sr. Please join us next month, February 12th, to honor and remember Pasquale F. Cancel. Before we go our separate ways, we will take a few family photos up front, and then we will reassemble shortly at our county flagpole to raise the flag in James's memory.